one really cool thing about gears is the ability to MIDI map different function to optimize the performance, or at least the usage of the gear or the software. And this also works for the SP404, where you can eventually MIDI map different functionalities that are not necessarily the easiest accessible. So today I wanted to talk about how I MIDI map some of the functions in the SP404. So my main use case in this video will be focus on the DJ mode, because I feel like the DJ mode is where I am kind of tending to want an extra hand in the back so I can do certain things. The easiest example of this is the bus. So having going from bus 1 to bus 2, and then having effects being played, and then going back to bus 1 and then having effects as well. So pressing this bus button tends to be a little complicated in the middle of DJing. So yes, I want to mainly focus on this, but this doesn't necessarily apply only to DJ mode. Many of these MIDI mappings can apply to different aspects of the SP404. The LaunchPad with the software companion can do really cool things where you can have like faders as well and things like this. So yes, let's try to kind of put all of this together. So there are a few things that are important in setting all of this up. One thing is the companion app for the LaunchPad, or at least the MIDI controller. And then another one is the SP404's MIDI chart. For the LaunchPad Mini, I guess I will not go too deep into this specifically, but you can eventually have three sort of presets. So you have a user preset, and then there is these two drum and keys. I mostly use the user preset, so I'm kind of going to set everything up kind of from scratch. And then within the app itself, as you can see, there are these options. So there are faders, which is really cool. And then there are like MIDI CCs and program changes and things like this. So my use case that I'm thinking of is that I'm in the DJ mode, and I would like to control these two knobs, the faders for each channel. And then another aspect is I would like to automate, or at least control the effects. So when I'm pressing on this, I don't need to press on every single one of these effects, but I can use a controller to press them simultaneously, or one after the other, in bus 1 and bus 2. Ultimately, also you can do this on bus 3 and bus 4, but just for this one, bus 1 and bus 2. And then I would like to assign the control for these controllers, because if you go to an effects, these eventually controls the different values for each effects. So I want to control at least one of them. It depends on the effects, but I think the best thing is to control like at least one of them. So all right, let me go into the component, and then let's put a fader. So vertical fader. Let's not worry too much about the CC number for now. I'm just trying to put the layout together. So these two will be my my faders for each channel in the DJ mode. And then let's say I will need another fader for the knobs. So let's say, because in most cases the way I use it is knob 1 would be or at least controller 1 would be the cutoff. I don't use these two then. If I go into, this is a reverb, I use the knob 3 only. I don't use the knob 1 for adjusting the level of the reverb. If I go into delay, I use also the knob 3 to control the level of the delay. So in this case, I only use knob 1 for the filter, and then resonance and delay, I mostly use the knob 3, or at least control 3. If I go into isolator, which is like kind of my EQs, one of these sort of things, I mostly use control 1 or the knob 1. to adjust the low. In most cases, I don't really use mid and high, but again, all of this can be added, but to simplify it, I will use only a few knobs, or at least controllers. So then, with this case, I assume that I will mostly use knob 1 and 3, or at least control 1 and control 3, in most of the effects. Not all the time. Sometimes I will just use control 1, sometimes I will just use control 3. But I'm kind of assuming that I will use at least control 1 and control 3. But there is also something to keep in mind, is that I'm primarily going to use this for different buses. And different buses will be like, let's say, one configuration for bus 1 and then another configuration for bus 2. So let's say these, let's change the color. These two oranges would be the controller for knob 1 for bus 1, and then the controller 1 or knob 1 for bus 2. And then another vertical faders. I would like to put it on the side because I want the effects triggers in the middle. So just let's do this like this for now. And then these two then be for controller 3 for bus 1, and then controller 3 for bus 2. Now here comes the triggers. So let me triggers, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put 4, I guess. So this will be, let's say, the filter for bus 1. This will be the filter for bus 2. And then there are other functions, as we are going to kind of look into the MIDI mapping charts. You can also program, or at least set functions to trigger samples. I have 8 samples that I can eventually trigger from here. But let's stay on this for now. So now, if I go into the MIDI chart, so let's say here, so it for the channel 1, this level of the fader, it will be CC7, and then it will be on channel 1. So let's say on this one, the CC number is 7, and then it will be channel 1. I think the novation component kind of remember what I did last time, but yes. And then if you look at it again, it's also channel 2. And then same number, just a different channel. So let's do it like this. And if I send this, let's say send it to custom mode 3, it now works. Now there is a small mistake because the rest of these faders are also on channel 1. So it kind of, everything reacts as I do this. Alright, so right now I would like to assign the controls. So like control 1, or at least knob 1 and knob 3, on what they do, and assign these to these two faders. So right here, just above the DJ mode, you have the CC for the effects. So controller 1, it's number 16. I think these are all in channel 1 because we are staying on bus 1, like it is mentioned here. And then this will be again, see number 16, but this one will be on channel 2. And then same for these last two, or at least it will be the controller 3. And then controller 3 is the CC number 18 and 18. And then this will be on channel 3. Just to double check. Right, so if I send this, let's say I enable a filter drive. So filter drive is changing. You can choose different values, still on bus 1. If I want to try and change the drive, which using the controller 3, it should be this, and it is changing. All right, so now if I go to bus 2, let's say I want to change the filter. The controller 1 and control 2 should control 3 should be these outer faders. So if I go, yep, it does work. The faders are good. What is left is just to kind of assign the trigger for these effects. And there is a section on the implementation charts that does this. Where is it again? Because I don't remember exactly where it was. All right, so it is right here. You have the list of the direct effects that you have. So effects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like I say, I mainly want to use all of 4, I guess. So let's try this. So the value will be for depending on each channel again. Bus 1 is channel 1, bus 2 is channel 2. And then on the LaunchPad companion app, there is this option also to kind of what is the pad mode. I'm going to go for toggle because I want to press, and then it stays, and then press again to turn it off. So anyway, so the value for the CC number is still 83, and then it depends on the value add, which is value 1 is for this, value 2 is for the second direct effect. So let's go through this real quick. CC is still 83, and then this is value 1 again. This will be for channel 2. So let's do a quick text test. So now it is engaged. Disengaged, engaged, disengaged. If I go to bus 2, this should trigger it. But yes, I forgot to change the pad mode. But if I hold it, it is now engaged. It is not engaged. So yes, let me quickly go through all of this, and then we'll continue on the last one. So let's say I have this song. I can easily adjust the faders. I have my filters. I'm in bus 2 right now, but my filter is running in the back. So let's say, oh, this is on bus 2. But let's say I put delay instead, which is delays. So right now, even though I'm not seeing it, I'm adjusting the delays time level. Sorry. So even if I'm in let's say bus 2, and for some reason I want to activate something in bus 2, it doesn't work. So yes, there are many things in the DJ mode as well. I can also trigger playing. I can trigger like BPM, band. I can trigger queuing, syncing, and different things. I can also trigger the third channel, or kind of adjusting this, which actually, after kind of like playing around and having some use cases, I think the third channel is the one that I'm going to MIDI map the faders to, because I do like having these faders kind of being played from these knobs, not necessarily from here. So yes, these are kind of things that I'm trying to play around. Like I said, there are so many things that you can eventually MIDI map. Not everything, but there are many things that you can eventually MIDI map. But yes, for this example, it's only for these faders, 2 faders, and then the control 1 and 3 for the few effects that I have here. But yes, this is something that I will eventually recommend checking if you have an SP404. You don't necessarily need to have like a crazy, I guess, MIDI controller. You know, like this, the LaunchPad does work well for me. And the cool thing about the LaunchPad Mini, at least, is very small. So you can eventually kind of, it's not as, it's smaller than SP404, so you can just slide it into the backpack. An unfortunate part about this is that this doesn't have MIDI out. So, you know, that's a whole discussion about MIDI device and MIDI host, but I'll probably do a video on that. Stay tuned for that. But yes, as far as the SP404, I will continue mapping different aspects of the SP404. This is it, MIDI mapping on the DJ mode, the SP404. Yes, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.